Here with the one, the only Mr. President Babe himself, Justin Dyson. I know,
Hello.
everyone doesn't understand where that comes from. So just so you guys know, Justin is our president. And when we were trying to come up with titles, Channing, who it was her birthday yesterday, happy birthday. Justin's amazing other half was like, yeah, his name is Babe. And so that's why we call him Mr. President Babe. But Justin, thank you so much for jumping on here. We had like a lot of things happen recently, a lot of changes and stuff, and I want to cover all this live with you. So, for anyone who's not familiar with you, your background, and what you do, can you give these guys just a quick update on who you are and why you are the president you are?
Sure. So, hi, everyone. My name is Justin Dyson. I've been selling on Amazon since 2015. I started like most of you. I heard about the FBA model and I was like, hey, I should go try this out. I did, stumbled a lot that first year, but we figured it out. We built a multi seven-figure brand. We exited that brand in 2020 for a good multi seven-figure exit as well. And now I'm starting over. I'm trying to see if I can still do this thing. Just kidding. It's going quite well, and I'm pretty excited to share kind of what we have going on. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. But I guess more about me. I've been married for 13 years now. I've got two boys. One is 12, one is 6. And it's been crazy. A lot of times people, ask me, does Amazon still work? And it's like, yeah, I've been doing it with 2 kids, a brand new baby. It works just fine. So pretty excited to share what we have to share with you guys today. And yeah, that's me. I started coaching in the Titan Network. What was that? 2019, I think. So it's been a few years now, and pretty excited. A lot of people ask me, why do you coach other sellers if Amazon works so well? It's like, because it's freaking rewarding. I like helping people. Is that so bad? And so that's a little bit about me. I won't ramble on any further on that, but yeah, let's dive in.
Okay, I love that. So let's start a little bit from the beginning because it's very pertinent to what we're about to talk about. You and I, and most of the people that I know that are successful, enjoy going to events, learning from people who are successful, reading books, like anything you can do to grab knowledge from other people who've kind of found the way through the path is something that if you look at the stats on anyone who's achieved anything fantastic in their life, most of them surround themselves with really smart people. They read a lot. They're just always thirsty for knowledge, and they do not ever have the idea that they've hit their peak or their the top of the top. I know even Tony Robbins hires mentors and coaches all the time, despite him being pretty much on the top of his game, because he knows that the best way for you to continue to grow as a human being and in business is to learn from those who are more successful, and maybe not more successful than you in a certain zone, but maybe they're experts in a particular zone. And so always being open to that is very key. So the reason why I wanted to come on here with you is because there's a lot of uncertainty in this world, and we're going to definitely be talking more about that. I think you and Dan have a whole webinar that you have prepped that's going to go more in depth on some of this, but I just want to touch upon a couple key things. One, the state of the world is a bit cray, right? Let's just be honest. That's one thing. And then the other thing is the state of Amazon has changed drastically. And without going really deep into that, I'd love to get your perspective on sort of where things are at just from your view.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, the world's kind of nuts just in general, right? Go outside of business and just everything's kind of in turmoil. But if we're being honest, it's been that way for a while. Like, yeah, I feel like this is just the next thing, the next wave of things that are going to happen. And so you can either run from it or you can, go into it head on and you can just kind of ride the wave and carry forward. And I think as entrepreneurs, that's exactly what we should be doing. There's really no excuse. If you're going to own a business and you're going to, be the leader of something, whether that's your family, your business, whatever, then you have to take the reins and you have to live your life intentionally, right? So we can talk about, everything going on in the world, but at the end of the day, for you and your business, it really doesn't matter. Now, speaking directly to Amazon, yes, that's changed as well. And it's always going to. That's going to be the case, I think, for as long as anyone ever sells on the platform, it's always going to be changing. I got started in 2015. Prior to that, I heard stories of it was the wild, wild west. You could throw up junk and you could make money. When I started, that wasn't the case. Yeah, you could still throw up junk, but you had to do a little work. And things have changed drastically since then, right? We used to be able to buy reviews. Can't do that anymore. We used to be able to do like 90% off coupon codes. technically can do that, but it doesn't work anymore. Then it was rebates, and now you can't do that anymore. So it's like, oh my God, what do we do now? You can't throw up a bunch of Me Too products and then throw a bunch of free products that customers get a bunch of reviews. How are you supposed to launch products? And I think the biggest fear I think that people have is really that. I can't find any new products to launch that aren't saturated. I can't use rebates anymore, so I don't know how to launch in general without using PPC. And then PPC is getting too expensive, so how do I compete? And to be honest, guys, like this is a problem you have to solve. And luckily, within the Titan network, we are a group, right? We are a group of people that are working together, not against one another. So we are coming up with strategies and tactics, and we test a lot of things ourselves within our own businesses, and we're figuring this stuff out alongside of you. So to me, while the old private label model, I think is very much dead. No, you can't go to Alibaba, find a product, put your brand on it, stick it on Amazon, give away a bunch of products, get reviews, and be happy with all the money you're making. That died. That's over. I know some people are still using rebates. Some very large people are still doing rebates, but we don't teach that anymore. We don't do that anymore because you don't have to, right? The state of Amazon today really comes down to a few things. One, when it comes to product development, you have to innovate. And that sounds scary, right? It sounds like, well, how am I supposed to innovate? I don't know how to create something brand new. I don't know how to do that. And it's like, it's really not that hard, right? If you really think about it, if you're going to innovate and you're going to, take on this product development process, then you can't be a Me Too product. Well, what do? You give a crap about your customer. It's really kind of what it comes down to. If you care about your customer and you know what problems they have and you know how to solve them and you can figure out how to solve them, which again, you just read reviews. You can get a lot of great ideas from reading reviews. Then it's relatively simple to innovate, right? Innovate's not a scary word. It's simply finding a problem within your niche on an existing product, make that product a little bit different, stand out in the search results, and now you have a way to say, here's my unique selling point. Here's my special thing that I'm doing that no one else is doing, and you can stand out in the marketplace. You don't need rebates. You can launch with PPC. We've been doing this with just PPC for over a year now, I guess, and it's repeatedly successful. All right, so it's not as scary as people think it is, and it really just comes down to know who your customer is, solve their problems, and create products that solve their problems. That's really all it is. It's not terribly difficult. And so that's kind of the first thing. The second is, and kind of touched on already, is just PPC. PPC is getting more expensive. Well, yeah, if you think about it, if a bunch of people stopped using rebates and they took those ad dollars, or I don't know if you'd call them ad dollars, but they took those dollars and then converted those into PPC, well, yeah, the cost from PPC is going to go up. So what do? Well, you have to be more intentional with how you set up your campaigns and how you target the keywords that you're running against those campaigns. So within the network, obviously, we have an entire process for keyword research. We have an entire process for how you should set up your campaigns that give you the most amount of control that Amazon will let us have for right now. And again, that will change over time. We've seen over this past, I guess, a year, maybe 2 years now, we've seen placements come through in a big way. Well, now that we have placements within advertising, we can control where our ad shows up, when it shows up very, very well. Right. So we're going to continue to get that across other ad types, I would imagine, as Amazon continues to expand. So the big things around product development, not being able to find products that, you can sell, and then just being able to advertise those products. Yes, those things have changed, but there's still so much opportunity in the marketplace. And we're seeing it ourselves in our own businesses, and we're seeing it from our members. So shy away from that negative talk that I know you're going to get it in your own head, but just ignore it. It's not worth it. You can innovate, you can change, and you can grow. And no matter what business you are ever in, that will be required, right? Look what happened in 2008 in the not retail, real estate market, right? You think those people didn't have to change? Some didn't. They buried their head in the sand and they lost. Don't be that person. Innovate and change, right? So I think that's what we have to do today on Amazon, and that's the name of the game of any business you're going to ever be in. So get used to the struggle because it's real, but it's worth it. It's so rewarding at the end of the day to say, hey, I solved this problem. I've been doing this for 7 years, 8 years now, however long it's been. And every time we come up against something, whether it's a terms of service change, the global economy takes the change, it doesn't matter. We're going to innovate, we're going to learn, we're going to grow, and we're going to do it together. So that's what we're doing here in Titan. So I don't know where I was supposed to go with that conversation, but
I love that so much.
That's it. That's my thoughts on it anyways.
Yeah, for sure. So I just want to take a step back on a couple things, right? First of all, for those of you who are not familiar with Titan, Titan actually came out of a whole journey of events which led to China Magic, which was a 12-day experience where we take people over to China and what that allowed us to do was have enough interaction with people to really get to know what moves the needle, right? We were able to get feedback from people who are beginning their journey, someone who's intermediate, and even guys who are doing tens of millions of dollars to find out what they actually need to get their business to move forward, right? So
Yeah.
all of these things, all the events, all the softwares and masterminds and courses and everything that we do, every action we take is meant to help us achieve a certain thing that we're looking to achieve on Amazon, right? Like that's why you started your business. That's why every single person that's in Titan starts an Amazon business. And it's going to be different for every person. Every person has their own sort of ambition level, what they're trying to achieve. You know, for some people, they want to exit. Some people want to keep going cash flow. Some guys want to build a $10 million business. Some people would be really happy to get an extra $10,000 a month in profit that they can take home to their families, right? And so, you know, you and I and the people within Titan, Dan, everyone else, we've been on this journey for about 8 years. And we've spent a lot of time with people getting to know what makes them tick, what motivates them, what are their goals, what are they going to run into, what are the barriers they're going to run into, and then really isolating, as you say, the 5 core pillars of the business, that if you focus on those things, you're going to achieve what you're looking to achieve. So
Exactly.
gone are the days of like the hacks and the, you know, all these things. And what's interesting is you and I were at a couple events recently, and they were fantastic events, great speakers, very good quality events. But the problem is that when you go to any of these events where there's someone speaking to you on stage, they're not actually workshopping with you, right? And we noticed the difference in China, that there were people who had gone to a million events, they've done a lot of courses, they've done a lot of things, but when they had that like one-on-one focus with an actual mentor there, and they were actually able to speak to somebody who's in the trenches, the amount of work that would get done in such a short time was really unlike anything we'd ever seen before. And it's extremely difficult to pull off. So one of the reasons why we came live, guys, is that with the way that the world is, with all the changes, and with the opportunity that we have, like, I just want to be clear, right now is the time to make it rain, right? While everyone else is freaking out and confused and whatever, if you have the exact strategy and you implement it hard, right? Where other people are pulling back their marketing dollars, you're going full force. Where other people are pulling back, you're finding all the amazing TikTok strategies and ways to drive traffic that's not just PPC, that is actually free for your business to utilize. Like, there's so many different things. By the way, we saw Gary Vee recently talk about a lot of things. And one of the things he was saying is, guys, I put out 80 pieces of content a day. If you are not successful and you are not, you know, going that hard, then do not complain to me, right? And I was like, oh, Gary, yes. Yes, Gary. And you can actually hear me say, yes, Gary, in the little video that he did. But the point that I'm trying to make on all of this is that the whole reason we're here is to build a very successful business that has enterprise value, that has stability, that has sustainability, that isn't built on a house of cards, that's actually something that you can depend on, that's going to continue into the future, right? And so we put on events. It's actually my specialty. It's something I've been doing since I was able to talk. And Titan has a type of event that is unlike anything out there, right? And this has only been possible because of the way that we have Titan, where we have about 40 different mentors, leaders, experts who have all come together with their amazing brain power and created a mastermind, right? And do you guys know what a mastermind is? I don't know if the audience like fully knows about this, but let me just kind of bring this through, and then I want you to touch upon your experience with this, Justin. But the concept of mastermind's been around for a very long time. I mean, even the Greeks would do it, right? Like, this is something that's from the beginning of time. They would have, you know, people of philosophy or science or industry that would come together. And, you know, more recently it's documented, you know, Thomas Jefferson did it, Henry Ford did it. And what they would do is they bring together all of these incredible human beings that all brought a different take to a topic. And because of that combined brain power, they were able to create something so much bigger than themselves. And that really is the essence of what Titan is. It's a mastermind that brings together all these brilliant people. And then we have an openness and a trust unlike any community out there that I know of, and that is able to kind of bring through that strategy, right? So if you couple the concept of mastermind and then you bring through an event where everyone in the room is open and they're contributing, it's something that is very unique and very different than anything out there. And we were meant to have a public event, right? We were meant to have this whole public event where people come in for a couple of days. We did that last year. It was amazing. It was called FBA Live. But when we announced that, our members pushed back and said, guys, what we want is you. We want to be able to sit in a room with other people who are at the same place as me. I want to collaborate and I want to work with someone like Justin Dyson who really knows their stuff. And I want to be able to ask him questions about all this amazing strategy that's coming through with Titan. And so we actually canceled the first couple of days of our event and we made this a members only thing only because we know the value of being that connected, right? So Justin, I've been talking a lot. I want you to kind of bring forward sort of from the seller's perspective, because you came through as a seller, right? And then also, just the progress that you've seen from having that environment.
Yeah, dude, I spent a lot of money and time even early on in my journey, right? I started in 2015. That's when my first product went live, like literally, I think it was like January 2nd of 2015. I went to my first live event in February of 2015. And it was mind blowing. I'd never been to anything like this. It was amazing. I'm seeing these people on stage and they're telling me all this stuff that I don't understand, but I'm going to learn. And, it was awesome. At the end of that event, I was like, I'm totally bought in on this business. I quit my job. I dropped out of college. Like, events are impactful. I'll just say that, to say the least. But I didn't get to speak to a single seller or a single speaker that was on stage. Not one. They kind of disappear and they go away. So all of the nuggets you can get and all the nuggets you can gather and implement in your business have to come from that 30-minute session or hour-long session when they're speaking on stage. But you can't get clarity on anything. It's like, oh, well, they said this, but I'm seeing this in my business. So like I'm missing that link, right? And so as the years kind of progressed, went to a bunch of other events, and a lot of them were very similar in that regard. You have speakers, and it doesn't matter if it was an Amazon event, just an e-commerce event, traffic and conversion, things like that. It's kind of the same concept. Speaker, audience, and there's a separation there. And it's very helpful. It's very impactful. But one of the most impactful things isn't what you hear on stage. It's what you do in the hallway, which is meeting other people, right? It's communicating and just bouncing ideas off of, it's not even bouncing ideas. It's literally just talking to somebody else, which I was very terrified to do originally. I kid you not, I would go directly to the bar, get 2 drinks, drink those before I could talk to anyone. Like I used to not order pizza on the phone. Okay, like I'm sitting here on a Facebook Live now, but like if you just saw me 10 years ago, like I wouldn't even order Chinese food or pizza over the phone because I don't like talking to other people because it was scary, right? But what I learned along the way is that when you meet other people that are in the same boat that you are, people that are not as far along as you are, and then people who are way further ahead than you are, things start to really click. All right. The concepts that you're learning and have learned over however long you've been in this game, they start to click and come together and you start making better decisions. All right. But a lot of that happens in the hallway and at the networking hours and at the things like that. So it wasn't until China Magic that I went to an event that was just completely different. So instead of having speakers, it's just a 12-day workshop session and then going to Canton Fair into Hong Kong and going to those fairs as well. And I think that's really kind of how Titan kind of found that balance, because it was incredibly personal. The people you're seeing speak in front of you, we're in a conference room. Like there's no stage. It's just a conference room, right? And I can ask questions directly. And the speed at which you can make decisions and make changes in your business is literally like as fast as you can type, right? Because you're getting the feedback directly from the person who's talking. And I kid you not, like probably one of the most impactful things I got from an event like that was at the bar, talking to someone at the bar. And I didn't even know who this guy was, but I was telling him all my problems with shipping and can't stay in stock. And he like literally wrote down on a napkin the math and the difference between running out of stock and just keeping an extra 30 days. And I was like, that should have been obvious, but I've been struggling with this for over 1.5 years. And since that point in time, we never ran out of stock again. And our revenue and profit went through the roof as a result. So it's things like that happen in the hallway, at the bar, at the networking sessions that are so impactful. So that's coming to present day. Let's talk about Titan and like the events that we put on, right? We're going to mesh those two things. Yes, we're going to talk to you, not necessarily from a stage, but in a small room. And we're going to give you that stage talk up front. But then we're going to do it together. Whatever we're talking about, in a session about whether it's PPC, product development, team building and systems, whatever we're talking about at that point, In 5 minutes, you're going to be doing something to action that, right? So that's kind of the beauty of how we have these set up. And the biggest feedback I think we've received from members is we just want to hang out with you. We don't need to sit in a room for 8 to 12 hours a day while you speak from a stage. It was like, no, we just want to talk, like, and just hang out. We don't have to talk about work necessarily, which we always do. But that's kind of how that morphed over time. But the way we run events and the way this upcoming event is going to be handled is we're going to be working hands-on workshop style in the morning, and in the afternoon we're just hanging out, right? The speakers aren't running away. We're going to hang out with you and talk to you basically the rest of the evening and afternoon. So I think that's, for me, the biggest impact is the people you meet along the way. Because had I not gone to those events and just talked to random people that I didn't know, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have been able to grow my business the way I have, and I certainly wouldn't have be here talking to you like this right now.
Love it. Okay, guys. So we're going to be in Austin, Texas from the 1st through the 6th of November. And I'm going to post a link here for you to have a chat with me. If you are already a Titan member, you can sign up directly for this event. But this is a members only event. So if you're an Amazon seller and you're interested in participating, we can definitely get on a call. We can chat. We have a really great way that we can have you involved. But for those of you that don't know, we handpick every single person before they join Titan. We just want to make sure that people are ambitious, they have an abundance mindset, they're positive. We basically have a no a-hole policy, to be completely honest, because the thing is, like, in that room, you want that positive energy and you want people actually sharing. I remember I went to this event in San Diego and we were super excited. There was a guy doing 50 million in sales a year. And at that time, that was just like unheard of, right? So we were all so excited. We sat there, people traveled from all around, and the guy sat in the middle and didn't give us anything. Like, he gave us like surface crap. He's like, you need to build a team. And we're like, okay. And you need to put a lot of like really, really surface level crap, right? And I was like sitting there, I'm like, this is terrible, right? Because you're only going to get the value that people are willing to actually give you and share. And I think that's really the power of Titan, is that we have really smart people, very successful people, but they're also willing to collaborate. And that is really where that together we're stronger thing comes from. And it's so true. Like, just our PPC strategy is blowing people away. And that strategy would have never come out of one person's brain. Like, it's just impossible. Like, there would be no.
I can tell you how many hours have gone into that.
How many hours have gone into our PPC stuff, Justin? Just as an estimate.
Literally like weeks. I don't even know. Like, there's so much time and energy.
Thousands. Yeah.
And it's a collaboration.
It's a collaboration. And then on top of it, we built our own special software tool because there isn't a software that can do exactly what we need. And so within Titan, we've got like a lot of gold that people aren't always aware of. Like, I know that it's very hard for us sometimes to communicate on our marketing just how amazing the stuff is that we do. But if you're a larger seller and you are, playing this game at all, and you're not familiar with what we actually have in Titan, you'd be incredibly impressed to find out what we've created. And again, the only reason we can create things like this is because of the willingness, the openness, and the trust of this amazing group of people. So we made this members only, but we actually have 20 tickets. We haven't released it yet. We're literally releasing it as of right now for 20 people who are not part of our network. And so you have to get on the phone with me, though, personally. I have to vet you, make sure that you're the right vibe, because there's a reason that our members pushed back on the public event. They didn't want people there. This is really, I'm sorry, I'm going to be kind of a little snobby here. They just didn't want to be around people that weren't Titan. Not that there's not great people out there. There's tons of amazing, positive people that are in this industry that I love very deeply. And it's nothing against anyone else. It's just they know if someone's a Titan that they just have a similar vibe, similar culture, and that they can have a lot of trust. I mean, honestly, people arrive in a city that they don't know and they try to find out if there's any Titans, and literally people invite them in their home. Like, it's a thing, guys. Like, we've created a really beautiful culture and network where people truly do trust and believe in each other and want to lift each other up. So for us, Justin, Dan, myself, Brendan, all the leadership, really what we're trying to figure out is how to help you move in your business the quickest, how to make it the easiest, fastest route to get you from where you are right now to that next level profitably sanely and, scaling it in an intelligent way with sound practices so that if you do want to sell this thing, you can actually sell it because it's not just built on a bunch of hacks, right? And that's
Exactly.
really what we're doing in Austin. And we've got great live training and we do lots of calls, but there's nothing that compares to the productivity of being live in person. And Justin and I know that just because sometimes we'll have like our little leadership retreats where we're there for, 2-3 days. We get done more in those 2-3 days than we ever could on Zoom in months, right? So that's why we're really bringing people through. And so if you guys are struggling in your business, you really need to be there. And if you're, doing well and you're trying to kick it up a notch, you really need to be there because you want to be basically you want to be Netflix and not Blockbuster.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you want to be freaking Netflix because a lot of you all are relying on some Blockbuster tactics right now, and
Yeah.
that's gonna slowly die away. The whole slap a label on it, getting fake stuff like that stuff doesn't work anymore. So
It's very hard to keep operating that way. And it's going to these other events, I say other events, any event, right? Any industry event where you get to meet other sellers, right? No matter who they are. What I'm seeing a lot of times, especially with the people in the, between the 7 to 8 figure range, they're struggling to keep up with the rate of growth that they had in the past, which makes sense somewhat in the sense that, going from 1 to 2 million, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16, that definitely is going to get harder as those numbers get bigger. But what we're seeing is like they're just having a hard time coming out with new products, right? And why? It's like, well, you're still operating with the same framework that you set up in 2017, 2020. It doesn't work anymore. We have to change. We have to innovate. And at the event in Austin, if I can talk about that a little bit, we're going to split up into groups, right? And the groups are based upon where you're at in your business. We have 5 groups. You have people that are just starting out. You have people launching their first product. You have people in the 10 to 50K a month range, 50 to 170K month range. And then our group 4 is $2 million plus. And in each group, we're going to be talking about something different. But at the end of the day, the model is relatively similar, right? You have to know who you're selling to. It doesn't matter if you're a new seller or a seasoned seller doing 7, 8 figures. In fact, if you talk to somebody doing 8, 9 figures, they know exactly who they sell to. And that's the reason they sell as much as they do. They're always launching products and they're always launching those products to the same group of people or same avatar, right? So while we're in Austin, like I'll just kind of give you a brief kind of overview of what we talked about because I met with the team this morning and we finalized the agenda, got all the logistics in order. So we already talked about product development. That's obviously going to be something that we discussed, but let's talk about profit. Like it's like the thing that no one ever wants to talk about. Everyone's like, hey, yeah, I got a multi 7-figure business, but they'll never tell you the profit margin because it's -4. Like they literally don't have any profit, and it's like, oh, it's 3%. It's like, well, that's not very good. It's like, yeah, if you're a multi 7-figure seller with a 20% margin, yeah, you've got your stuff dialed in. And so that's going to be a very big topic of conversation, especially for our groups 2, 3, and 4, is now that you've had some success, now that you can move some product, you need to make sure that you have some profit so that you can keep doing that and repeating that over and over and over. So that'll be a very big topic of conversation. We have some frameworks in place. We have some scorecards that you're going to use. And these are things that you're going to take home. Like every time we do an event like this, where it's an in-person workshop, we come prepared with obviously a content piece so that you know what the hell we're talking about. Then there's an exercise of, okay, we told you what we're going to do. We're going to show you how to do it. And then you're going to do it and we're going to help you through it. All right. So that whole I tell you what to do, I walk you through it, and then you walk me through it type of thing when you're hiring somebody. It's basically that, right? But in person with your own business. So profit's a huge, huge thing. And then another component that really is impactful for the larger sellers, right? Low to high 7 figures is team building and systems. One thing I'm seeing a lot of is you can get to 7 and multi 7 figures with a very small team, right? We did it with a very small team, but things really start to break down as your business grows, as the number of products you have grows. And if you don't have enough man hours, in other words, enough people in your organization to keep maintaining these products and keep maintaining the profit for each of those products that you launch, your business starts to fall apart. And we're seeing so many sellers in the 7-figure range struggle with having a team that they can actually properly use to continue to grow their business. I don't care what industry you're in. Everybody always says, who's a business owner, I hired this help, but they just didn't work out, right? Everyone's got that. Everyone's been through that. I would push back and say that if they didn't work out, it's your own fault. because you didn't hire the right person, most likely, or even more likely is you didn't onboard them properly. You didn't give them the scorecards they needed to measure the success that they had in their role. You didn't even explain to them what the role was. You said, hey, I need you to manage my PPC. Here you go. And then you're like, why don't I get the results? Well, you didn't tell them what you wanted. And you didn't give them the framework to do that. I don't care if it's a PPC agency or a PPC expert. If you don't explain to them what you want out of their role, they can never give it to you because you never told them what to do. So there's an entire team building and systems framework that we're delivering. It'll actually be finished later, or I guess the start of October. That will be coming through at the Austin event. And this is something that the group 3 and 4 members have been asking for a while. So we finally got it over the line and finished. And then I guess the last thing I'll talk about is, this is my favorite one. I was actually writing content on this morning. So Skew Optimization, right? So we have 5 pillars in Titan. We have product development, product launching, Skew Optimization, PPC, and then audience utilization. Everyone thinks that Skew Optimization means listing optimization, like optimizing your listing, your title, your bullet, your images. That is not what Skew Optimization is. We just talked about profit being so important. You do that while that's what you're optimizing for. So Skew Optimization is for optimizing revenue and profit on a per SKU level. If I asked you right now, what is your profit margin on every single SKU that you have? If you don't have that listed somewhere in a spreadsheet, how in the world would you possibly know when something's going wrong? You wouldn't. You would assume it's going wrong because you have no target set up. So one of the things that we're going to talk, especially in groups 2, 3, and 4, about is that Skew optimization process. You have to know your targets. You have to know how to read data, what data to read, and then what that data actually means. We have this, I guess we call it a product performance audit. And it's basically a system for taking a product, hitting all of the major points to find out, do you have a problem with sessions? Do you have a problem with PPC? Do you have a problem with conversion? Is it your listing, right? And it's going to cover all these things. Like, do you rank for the right keywords? How do you know? The Titan tool system allows this to kind of happen pretty quickly. And for you and your own business, it should take about 15 minutes, right? If you have all this data ready to go, which you should, how else are you supposed to optimize a product if you don't have the data in front of you? But if you have all this data ready to go, which you will if you're using Titan tools, then this is a 15-minute process. And you can find out within that time frame, what's wrong with my product? Do I have a sessions issue? Well, what's a sessions issue? That means you're not ranking for the right keywords, right? That those two literally go hand in hand. Or is it a conversion problem? Did I just, put a bunch of money into PPC to go rank for these really broad keywords? I ranked for them, my sessions went up, my conversion went down. That means you made the wrong decision. You tried to rank for the wrong keyword thinking more traffic was the answer, when in reality, you hurt your listing because conversion is king. If you're not converting, you're not going to rank organically. And that's just the name of the game. Excuse me. Woo. I was talking too fast there. I got in trouble for that yesterday on the huddle for talking too fast. But that's to me, it's so important that you guys understand, if you're selling on Amazon, you have to follow a framework and you have to be able to move forward in your business and understand what that means. How do you increase revenue? You launch products. Would you rather, let me ask you this, would you rather focus on, the 5-10 products you have and increase revenue by 20%? Or would you rather double the products you have and increase revenue and profit by 100%? I would much rather take the 100%. And we did this year over year for 5 years in my business. And this is what we're going to teach you guys in Austin. So you should be there. That's really what it comes down to. And I'll leave it at that for now.
I love that. And guys, one thing to think about also is it can just be like little things that you improve. Like, I know there was a story about an Olympic gold cycling team, and I might have this facts on this a little bit off, but from what I understood, like, they really analyzed every member of that team, and if they could improve just by like 1% on this one thing. What?
So yeah, it was 1%.
Yeah, it was 1% here, 1% there. And when they added it up, it ended up being enough to like win the gold medal, right? So like with what we're doing, it's like you guys might even have a business that you feel is going really well. And even just that little tweak, it improves the profitability this much. It improves the velocity of your sales this much. And we're going to be going through all those different things. So I think by the end of it, you're going to see that show up tremendously. And what I really want for you is a few things. One, I want you to have clarity on where you're going with this business and what it's going to take to get there, right? Without clarity, it's it's almost impossible to get somewhere if you don't even know where it is that you're looking to go. So I think one thing is to have the clarity to really know what's going to actually move the needle for your business personally. And we're going to come to that conclusion live in Austin. And then all the different contributing factors, we're going to be working on them, like whether that's PPC, team building, product development, whatever it is. But we've got some really smart people. I mean, Kata and Matt, they built and sold their business within 2.5 years for multi 7 figures. They launched again. They have a single SKU producing $1 million, right, guys? In this climate. That wasn't 5 years ago in this climate. We've got rock stars. We actually have a couple new members who they have 5,000 people on a reoccurring membership in their niche, right? And whenever they launch a product, these guys are such avid followers of this brand that they can't help but rank. They're just trying to launch enough products. They're just trying to keep up with it because of how much success they're having. And I'd love for them to come through and tell you how they built that, right? So my job and Dan's job and Justin's job is to kind of cultivate all these amazing people, bring it together, bring through that strategy, stuff that you might have not even thought of, different ideas. And again, you never know who you're going to meet, how you're going to collaborate. They might end up becoming your business partner, your best friend, even just someone to have like support with, right? Like we're actually real close friends. Like it's not just something that we do for the business. I remember I had a 5-hour surgery and I have a little group chat with my family and I said, I'm okay. The second group chat I posted, I'm okay, was my Titans, right? These are my actual people. And you don't develop that being in a Facebook group or you can on Zoom to some extent, but like when you have that live human interaction, that's when you become really, really close. And you want to have people who understand you, who are on this journey with you, that can in any moment, maybe help you out with a situation. And that's just another part of why I think these things are amazing. So we're going to be in Austin from the 1st to the 6th of November. When I say that we have 20 tickets outside of Titan members, this is not some sales ploy. This is not some marketing thing. We only allocated 20 because we have to kind of get you guys up to speed before you can even come to the event. We need to get you hooked up with our tools. You need to start to learn a bit of the strategy so that when you walk in there, you're not completely blind. And we can't do that with 100 people. We're going to only limit it to 20 people. And so if you guys want to be a part of this, I want to talk to you personally. I want to handhold you through that whole process so you can be a part of it. But there really isn't anything that's going to move the needle more in Amazon, in your business, that I'm aware of in any community out there. And I can say that with total certainty. There are a couple of communities that are fantastic. They do a similar thing and I respect them tremendously. But when it comes to like networking and being able to really workshop, I just don't know any other community that does what we do. Do we, Justin? Is there any? Not really.
No, I know.
It's not easy to pull off. Like what these guys do to pull this off is amazing. And how many team members we fly out from all over the world. This is not something that we do for any other reason than we want to see that growth and that movement in your business. This is not a profit center for us. This is just a way for us to be able to really give to you everything we've got to help you move forward. So anyway, we'd love to have you. Let's put that link. I'll put the link on here in just a second. But any last things that you'd like to tell these guys, Justin, before we wrap up?
No, I think we covered most of it. At the end of the day, guys, Amazon's still kicking. Come join us. Let's all grow together. That's really what it comes down to. That's why we do this. It's why we coach. It's why we teach, people on Amazon, because it's fun, it's rewarding, and it's still working. Let's 100%. Go.
Let's go. Yeah. And what I want to tell you is that even before you guys arrive to this event, we are going to be surveying you. So we know every single one of your pain points, everything that you're looking to achieve. We're going to make sure that everything's aligned to you. And just to kind of wrap this up on the fun part, we chose this beautiful Hyatt Regency. It's about 20 minutes outside of Austin. It's gorgeous. We have parties and bonfires, and it's going to be super beautiful. It's probably one of my favorite locations to do events that's not by a beach, because it's just got a different sort of Austin-y vibe. And we've got horseback riding, and we're going to be throwing these things. Like, it's like a whole thing. So yes, it's going to be hardcore business, but we're going to have a lot of fun and a way for us to connect. And so, yeah, let me know if you want to have a little chat. We'd love to have you. And Justin, thank you for all you do. Like, this guy, he's already so successful. He's got a beautiful home, beautiful family, and he puts so much work and so much love into you guys, into helping people to achieve similar success. And it's so genuine. I know it's genuine because the way that this all started was we were in China he was a paying attendee, and he was just going around and just helping people and just being open and just being so willing to share. And so I noticed his character in that moment, and he's been on this journey of Titan ever since. So I'm like super grateful to Justin and his amazing wife. Happy birthday again, Channing, who has also been sort of the first, we call it the, okay, let's just call him this. So we went to Thailand after we released Titan, and we went to this beautiful elephant retreat, and there were 9 elephants. So we call it the first 9 people of Titan, 9 elephants. And Justin and Channing are part of those original 9. So having his brain power and how he can break down all the strategy into simplicity and be able to spend 5 days with people like him, there's nothing like it. And I'm really, really excited to share that with all of you. So we'll see you guys very soon. And thank you again for who you are and what you do, Justin, because you're a freaking awesome, amazing President Babe. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wait, just before we go, a big announcement. We are going to be doing a full deep dive with Dan, with Justin, on sort of this new era of strategy when it comes to Amazon. That's really what we're going to be talking about in Austin also. We didn't want to kind of break all of that news now because it's something that we're actually preparing. But the title of it has to do with bringing Amazon sexy back. At least that's my working title.
That's one of the titles. That's one of the titles.
Nobody agrees with me, but I like this title, and I need the Justin Timberlake music behind it. But the truth is, the whole private label is dead thing is true. You don't just slap something on a whatever and just throw it up there anymore. So we're bringing Amazon Sexy back in a big way, and so look out for that, because that's going to dive deeper into what's really happening in this industry, and I want you guys to show up for that. But this, I wanted to just kind of have a little chat with Justin and kind of go over just why we do what we do and why it is that it's so effective and why we see so much progress in such a short time. And that's really because of being in close proximity to the people who are current operators, who know what they're doing and who are actually willing to help you, which is a big factor. Okay, cool. So anyway, we are bringing sexy back all the time, every day. Right, Justin?
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. Okay, love you guys. Can't wait to see you in Austin. And I'm going to be doing more lives with more brilliant people. So just look out for that. And yeah, see you on our next one. Okay, bye.